Yes!
Hey everyone, and welcome back to another brand new episode of The Completionist. Now up to this point, I have done every single Mario game out there that's in the main campaigns, from the original Nintendo days, all the way up to Super Mario Galaxy 2, and even Mario 3D World. So here we are, 2016, and there aren't that many Mario games I haven't done. I think all that's really left is the RPG series. And I'm not talking about Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars, because I've already done that one. I'm talking more specifically about the Mario that's made out of paper. And glitter. And glue. Maybe some paper mache if you're lucky.
There isn't a paper mache.
There's no paper mache?
Zero paper mache.
There's no paper mache in Paper Mario? I'm out. I'm out. You f***ed up. Mario has done just about everything during the duration of his time as a video game icon. He's been a plumber, an adventurer, a referee, he's participated in almost every single Olympic sport ever, and he's even taught kids how to type. And I was one of them. It's because of you, Mr. Italian Man, that I now know where my home keys are. But at some point, probably around the time that Square was tearing up Japanese charts with hit after hit, Mr. Shigeru Miyamoto realized that Mario had yet to become an RPG star. The good people at Nintendo figured that Mario's star power? No, not star power, that has nothing to do with this. Well, maybe a little. Invincibility is probably always a good thing. They figured that Mario's popularity would help to sell an RPG in the West, a market in which, at that point, the genre had always struggled somewhat. So, in 1996, after being developed by Square and published by Nintendo, Super Mario RPG The Legend of the Seven Stars hit the stands. Plus, I reviewed Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars back at around episode 11, so you got your work cut out for you. Players loved that the game combined traditional RPG mechanics with Mario's tried and true platforming style. It gave us new fan favorite characters, offered a brand new way to play with Mario, and went on to become considered by many to be one of the greatest RPGs of all time. It was official. Mario had mastered yet another job. But when conceiving of the sequel, the new developers at Intelligent Systems were striving to innovate. Some of these innovations didn't quite pan out, like releasing the sequel on the Nintendo 64 DD. It never even had a chance, you guys, I know. But the game that was then known as Super Mario RPG 2 also employed a much more free camera than its predecessor, as well as flat, two-dimensional looking characters. With this new aesthetic in mind, and due to some legal problems with Square over the name Mario RPG, the name of the game was officially changed to Paper Mario. When it was finally released in the West in 2001, critics lauded its visuals, its battle design, and its accessibility. Some criticized it for being a little bit too easy, but most people got plenty of enjoyment out of Paper Mario, which is why it was eventually re-released on both the Wii and Wii U Virtual Consoles. Paper Mario has gone on to spawn its own spin-off series of RPGs, with Paper Mario Color Splash releasing sometime later this year, despite the internet already hating it before even playing it. Raptors! If things continue this way, Mario will have dipped his toe in just about every job imaginable. Soon, he'll have mastered every profession, every skill, everything on the planet. Mario's final form will be that of a god. All hail the Paper God. All hail the Paper God. Hooray, the Paper God! But for now, he's made of paper. Yay! Paper Mario opens like an old-fashioned storybook, complete with a narrator telling us the story. I'm not really sure who's telling the story, though. It always helps when you can imagine a voice when reading, so I'm just gonna hear Wilfred Brimley's voice as the narrators. Diabetes. We're told that in a faraway place known as Starhaven, there lies a sacred treasure called the Star Rod, which has the power to grant wishes. The rod is guarded by the 7 star spirits, but their world gets rocked when Bowser shows up. He and his henchman, Kami Koopa, somehow break the 4th wall and start messing with the story. No, wait, breaking the 4th wall is when the character shows awareness of the audience, but Bowser in the situation is like breaking the 1st wall? They don't really have that term in theater and film, so I'm trying to, whatever. He jumps into the story like Blue's Clues, grabs the Star Rod, and uses its power to transform the 7 spirits into tarot cards. With the Star Rod in Bowser's clutches, all of his dark wishes will become a reality, and no one else's wishes will become true. Meanwhile, Mario and Luigi are sitting pretty somewhere in the Mushroom Kingdom when they receive a letter from Peach promising them a party and sweets. I'll give it to Peach. She knows how to bring all the boys to her yard. With sweets, you guys, come on. But just as Mario runs into Peach, a giant clown castle erupts from beneath Peach's castle and carries it high into the sky. Bowser crashes the party and Mario begins to bop the big turtle like usual. But when Bowser uses the Star Rod, he becomes too buff for Mario to handle. He spits some hot fire at his ass and then launches the little dude out the window with a well-placed lightning bolt. Hell yeah, that's my boy Big Bow getting in there. Respect. After days and days, Mario finally comes to when he's revived by an image of one of the star spirits. The Phantom beckons Mario to come to the Shooting Star Summit if he wants to rescue Peach and save the kingdom. After performing some menial tasks around the Goomba village and picking up a little companion named Goombario, who looks a little bit like Pup Boy Wallace in The Office, Mario sets off towards the summit. Once he arrives at the very top, the images of the 7 star spirits give him the skinny on how Bowser rolled up their house and jacked their stuff. They explain that if Mario confronts Bowser again, he'll be toast. But if he helps to return the star spirits to their rightful place in Star Haven, then they can grant Mario the power he needs to bring down King Koopa. But they're all being held prisoner by Bowser's cronies throughout the Mushroom Kingdom. So it's up to Mario to rescue them all, stop Bowser, and return the Star Rod to its rightful place. But he's got to make at least one wish with the rod first, right? Like, wouldn't you? I'm not sure what Mario would wish for. He seems pretty happy all the time. I don't know if he really wants anything. I feel like he doesn't have that many regrets.
Name? Mario. Last name? Mario.
You know what? Yeah, that one. That's the one regret. That probably CDI too. Though those 2 regrets. But which one's worse? Which one's worse?
I hope she made lots of spaghetti.
Paper Mario is the Mario pop-up book that you've always wanted. It's cute, it's endearing, and it's got a classic style that's aged pretty damn well. And when I say it's a pop-up book, I mean it's a pop-up book. Or at least like a puppet show. The point is, Paper Mario is yet another Mario game that heavily implies that all of its events are merely part of a narrative being recounted to the player, which ends up making things lighthearted and fun throughout. This game has a simple but visually distinct style. Now, I don't want to alarm some of you guys out there, but in case you did not realize, our man Mario here is completely flat in this game. I know, crazy, right? Just like it was a bold choice to create Mario with 3D polygons in Super Mario 64, flattening Mario for this game makes quite the visual statement. So much so that nowadays, many consider Mario and Paper Mario to be 2 distinct characters. I guess if Paper Mario ever did make a Smash Bros. Roster, he technically wouldn't be a clone, thanks to his own sweet-ass moveset. It can happen, Nintendo. The game's environments are also unique. Although the second dimension is a running theme in this game, the environments are actually in kind of a 2.5D. You're not exactly stuck in one plane, but you are restricted to a rigid perspective most of the time. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. Developers have been using forced perspective to reinforce great game design for ages, and Paper Mario is no different. Because you almost always have the same view of the action, the game ends up having a much more presentational vibe that focuses only on exactly what the player needs to see. Thankfully, what the player ends up seeing is mighty pretty. Just as you'd expect from a Mario game, the little dude's adventures take him to the furthest and most thermally diverse locations in the Mushroom Kingdom. There's a desert, a molten cave, and an icy mountain. And they all look considerably impressive thanks to the choice to pursue a cartoon style over realism. The characters themselves are all expressive and downright adorable. On top of that, one of the most impressive things about Paper Mario's characters is the fact that they're actually characters. In most Mario titles, the NPCs, the enemies, and even Mario himself are basically silent. You're given an inciting incident at the top of the game and some resolution at the end, but for the most part, these little guys don't have much by way of actual personality. But Paper Mario is full of interesting, well-executed, enjoyable characters, some of whom actually grow and change over the course of the game. Now, this is a rare thing in a Mario game, and I'm glad to see it happen in an RPG where it's most appropriate. Real talk, when these guys open their mouths to speak, it's usually pretty entertaining. But not Mario. That dude never speaks. He never changes. He is the unyielding rock against which his enemies break. Everyone fears him. The music is well composed and possesses that wonderful instrumentation that's synonymous with classic games. Throughout the game, I found myself surprised at just how many different kinds of moods and atmospheres the soundtrack was able to accurately suggest. And, in addition to the cool new tunes, there are plenty of callbacks to classic Mario tracks and sound effects too. At a glance, it's very clear what Paper Mario is: an amusing adventure that prioritizes a good time over everything else. It looks great despite its age, provides a truly unique perspective on the world of the Mushroom Kingdom, and it gave us Bo the Boo, who bitch slaps everyone she disagrees with. Oh, it don't matter if you're dead, girl, you go ahead and you get yours. You take it, take what you want. No one will stop you. Paper Mario is filled to the brim with role-playing goodness and a smattering of classic Mario gameplay for good measure. You might think that a game that looks as simplistic as this one would be a little light in the mechanics department, but Paper Mario has a whole lot to offer to players, both experienced and casual. But the main two ways to play are exploring in the overworld and battling enemies in classic turn-based fashion. Firstly, while in the overworld, you can interact with the environment, talk to NPCs, and search for secrets and hidden items to your heart's content. Traversing through the field is often as simple as just holding forward, but every now and then, your surroundings will be interspersed with open towns, hidden paths, and vertical sections. Now, I'm not saying that the game is too linear or anything, but for the most part, the game has pretty simple pathing. Later areas, such as dungeons at the end of each chapter, offer much more well-constructed mazes, requiring a bit of thinking in order to progress. But you're not alone out there in the overworld. You'll frequently encounter enemies who will aggro you when you get too close to their personal space. And once they touch you, you'll be taken to the battle screen, where Mario can engage in turn-based combat. Mario is the jump man after all, which is why his most basic attack is jumping on his enemies' heads. A classic never dies. But these dudes do. You know, when Mario jumps on them. His other weapon of choice is the hammer, which he uses to smack the hell out of whoever's dumb enough to get in his way. It's useful when you come across baddies who have attributes that make jumping on them a bad idea. The drawback of the hammer, though, is that you can only attack the enemy closest to you. But here's the thing, the combat in Paper Mario isn't purely turn-based. Depending on which techniques you use, you can interact with the game during individual combat steps by using techniques called action commands. These involve pressing a button at the right time to increase Mario's jump damage. These action commands are purely optional, but they're a great way to make Mario more dangerous and fights more engaging. Yet Mario's got tons of other tricks up his sleeve when it comes to battling. He can augment his regular abilities, like jumping on an enemy multiple times in a row, and preventing any bad statuses from affecting him. How does one gain access to these godlike abilities? It's all about the badges, my dudes. Badges are items that Mario can equip in order to change the way that he plays. And trust me, you need these stinking badges. You can purchase them from a certain NPC or find them in the overworld. Once equipped, they instantly give Mario access to that badge's specific ability. But you can't just throw on every single badge you stumble upon. You can only use as many badges as your BP, or badge points, will allow. BP is one of Mario's many stats. That's right, RPG purists. Mario's got a bunch of stats and a shiny stats page to go with it. Every badge requires a different number of BP in order to be used. HP is pretty self-explanatory, and FP governs how many times you can use your special abilities. Kind of like mana or energy. And when things get really tough, you can activate Mario's star power. No, not that star power. These are like Mario's super moves, complete with their own meter called a star gauge. Each time you rescue one of the 7 star spirits, you'll unlock a new powerful technique to use in battle. You can give yourself a big health boost, put all of your enemies to sleep, and even win a battle instantly. Damn, later man. Your star gauge takes a while to fill up, so star powers are kind of a last-minute resort kind of thing. When a battle ends, you'll get some coins for your trouble, which you can spend at shops, and some star points, which are basically your experience points. Whenever you collect 100 star points, Mario levels up, allowing you to choose between an upgrade to his FP, HP, or BP. You'll also collect star pieces from time to time, which you can trade to Merlo the Mage for even more badges. But the coolest way to customize the way you play are Mario's partners. Over the course of the game, you'll team up with 8 different denizens of the Mushroom Kingdom, including a Koopa Trooper, a Bob-omb, a Lakitu, and several other beings that Mario would usually murder without a second thought. When they're added to your party, they can aid Mario in his quest, each with their own unique abilities. These abilities include battle techniques such as launching a shell that can hit multiple enemies and an electric discharge that paralyzes foes. But your partners can help outside of fights too. In the overworld, Mario's partners can carry him over gaps and turn invisible blocks visible. Even though you can switch between them freely, you can only have one active party member follow you around at any given time. It's kind of like back in Pokemon Yellow. Come on, Bo, we're gonna bitch slap this gym leader. Your partners can also be leveled up, just like Mario can. You'll occasionally come across these super blocks, which will allow you to permanently buff one of your teammates, giving them more damage and new abilities. But these can be hard to come by, so choose your besties wisely. It's just a shame that Luigi can't become one of your partners. I mean, he's right there at the beginning of the game, and if you go back to Mario and Luigi's house, he's just right there chilling. Why won't you take him with you, Mario? You'll take all the other guys with you who you hate and want to murder, but not your own brother. You cold-blooded bastard son of a bitch. Now, this game is an RPG, so of course there are tons of items to find, collect, and use in Paper Mario. Some of them deal direct damage to the opponent, others can heal you, and some are just plain old weird. There's honestly a lot to this game. It has so much content in it, there's no way that I can mention every single detail, which is kind of exciting for a Mario game. RPGs are known for their depth, length, and complexity, whereas Mario games are known for being easy to pick up and play. The flat world of Paper Mario falls somewhere in between, in a comfortable area that keeps things easygoing and entertaining. Against all odds, Mario has rescued all 7 Star Spirits, and now he's making his way back to Shooting Star Summit. The Star Spirits instruct him to meet them up in Star Haven by taking a magical road known as Star Way. I know, it kind of looks like Rainbow Road, but it's Star Way. Once in Star Haven, the Star Spirits imbue Mario with the final star power, the Star Beam, which has the power to negate the Star Rod's wish-granting abilities. Alright, now this is getting ridiculous. I know stars are the big motif in Paper Mario, but you can use some other words too, like stellar or cosmos. You Star Spirits have gotta improve your vocabulary, man. I mean, look at that one right there. He's got a book right in his hand. I hope for his sake that it's a goddamn dictionary, cause learn some words, motherfucker. In any case, in order to reach Bowser's castle in the sky, the spirits also grant Mario a vehicle called... God damn it. The Starship. Mario breaks in and plows through Bowser's toughest minions and most challenging puzzles. And when our hero finally reaches the imprisoned Peach, the big baddie himself makes his appearance. This is it, the official rematch, and just like last time, Mario's off to a great start. But Bowser resorts to the power of the Star Rod yet again, forcing Mario to use the pure, cleansing light of the Star Beam. Those who oppose the will of the Star Spirit shall burn at the stake. Vulnerable once again, Bowser grabs Peach and flees right out the window. When Mario falls to the top of the castle, he's trapped in an arena with Bowser and old Kammy Koopa. Kammy uses a device to power up Bowser even further, which makes him invulnerable even to the overwhelming divine justice of the Star Beam. That's where the real hero of the story steps in. Princess Peach, along with her Star Kid pal Twink, are able to subdue Kammy Koopa with the power of wishes, which is where star beings get their strength. Then, Princess Peach wishes harder than ever before for the safety of her kingdom, which overcharges the Star Spirits. With their power overflowing, Mario's Star Beam is upgraded to the Peach Beam, proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that nothing in the universe is more powerful than a woman's love, or a woman's hatred, or even a woman's indifference. Really, do not mess with ladies. Be nice, be kind. Mario uses the Peach Beam to expose Bowser's weakness once again, and after one last battle, Mario defeats his nemesis and reclaims the Star Rod. Bowser's power amplifier begins to malfunction, which causes his castle to explode. But thankfully, Peach's castle floats safely back down to Earth in a convenient bubble. The Star Rod is returned to its rightful owners, and the Star Spirits, along with Twink, leave for their home in the heavens. Cut to Mario, who's been telling this whole story to his brother Luigi in their home. I guess he's been the narrator the whole time. Sorry, Wilfred Brimley. Just then, Mario and all of the companions that he met during his journey are invited by letter to yet another party at Peach's castle. But what's this? If you head right back to your house after leaving for the party, you can enter Luigi's secret basement of secrets. You can even read Luigi's diary, which includes entries that explain how Luigi is actually jealous of all the adventures in which Mario gets to go on. I told you, Mario, you need to invite this dude out more often. Parties don't count. Neither does karting or Olympics. My God, man. Each diary entry just gets sadder and sadder than the next one. Luigi doesn't live a life. He just lives through his brother. That poor dude. Oh, but hey, it's party time and everyone's here. After a celebratory parade in Mario's honor, he and Peach go off together to watch the fireworks. The perfect ending. You know, I can't help but feel like we're forgetting someone. Probably nothing. Paper Mario is one of those games with varying degrees of completion criteria depending on how you define completion. No matter what finishing this game means to you personally, it's an RPG, so it's gonna take a while. There's no post-game and you don't unlock anything by beating the game, but there's a whole lot of optional content to play through. Firstly, there are the side quests, which have Mario running around and performing favors for what seems like every character in the Mushroom Kingdom. There's also no less than 3 different side quests revolving around delivering mail to the various characters in the game. And there's even an entire sub-quest that takes place in the tunnels beneath Toad Town. Once again, these side quests are completely optional when it comes to beating the game, but they end up being more important than one might think. See, if you are the completionist type, then you'll be glad to know that there's a handy board located in Mario and Luigi's house that keeps track of your completion progress. It gives you a somewhat official list of the things you'll need to collect and accomplish before you can claim that you've mastered Paper Mario. In addition to hunting down every badge and star piece in the game, you'll also have to finish a few other side quests. Firstly, there's Tasty, who's a chef in Toad Town. If you bring her certain items, she'll use them as ingredients in her cooking and turn them into better items. For example, if you bring her an egg, which restores 5 HP, she'll make you a fried egg, which will recover 10. There are a lot of different recipes in the game, so collecting them all will take some diligence. And then there's Chuck Quizmo, a weird little worm who shows up in random spots all over the game. If you talk to him, he'll transport Mario to what appears to be a game show soundstage and asks Mario a trivia question about the game. If you get it right, Chuck will reward you with the star piece and move to another area. Just like the recipes, there are a lot of these trivia questions to go through. So if you want that chalkboard filled out 100%, then you're really gonna have to pay attention to every detail as you play. Screw it, just use a guide. I won't tell anyone, except Steve. I'm ratting you out, Steve, you bastard. So, some of you might be thinking to yourselves, okay, collect some stuff, cook some food, answer some questions, no problem. I can complete this game in no time. But here's the thing. In order to get some of those badges and star pieces that you need in order to complete the board, you'll actually need to play through some of those not so optional side quests from before. And if you do manage to fill out that completion board, including every single side quest, then you'll get a warm, fuzzy feeling in your heart and not much else. You may think that this fuzzy feeling is satisfaction or pride, but I'm pretty sure it's rage. Yeah, that's rage all right. Or indigestion. Now, excuse me for just one moment, I'm gonna go ahead and bitch slap more people with Bo. As I said before, Paper Mario exists comfortably in that magic area between fun and challenging. Even the most inexperienced players will do just fine as long as they possess a modicum of reading comprehension. None of what you encounter during the main campaign is ever frustrating, and even when you're grinding out side quests and participating in collectathons, the enchanting world and the characters in it always keep things enjoyable. In my playthrough of Paper Mario, there were 80 badges earned, 160 star pieces procured, 50 tasty recipes researched, 64 Quizmo quizzes quashed, 356 total battles, 3,373 coins collected, 48 hours of total playtime, and 1 hour of therapy a week for Luigi and Mario. Remember guys, you get out what you put in. Sure, you don't get anything for completing Paper Mario or even beating it normally, but the solid gameplay and the charming nature of the super flat Mushroom Kingdom makes Paper Mario worth checking out for just about everyone. Paper Mario for the Nintendo 64 is a wonderful experience that I want everyone to play. This game is awesome. If you have a Wii U, pick it up. You got a Wii, pick it up. You have an N64, pick it up. It is a great time, and I guarantee you will not be disappointed. I will say, if you're completing the game, it's pretty good, but not really rewarding for the journey. So, I don't know. I leave it up to you. With that in mind, guys, I give this game my completionist rating of Finna Pete It.
Finna Pete It.
That's all time we have for today, guys, so please, as always, let me know what you thought about today's episode somewhere on the internet. Question of the day: if you could take a video game franchise and make it into some kind of paper RPG game, what would it be and why? I'd probably do like Final Fantasy VI, Final Fantasy VII, and like a 3D polygonal kind of paper thing. It'd be really cool. I'd be down to see what that's about. Now, if you excuse me, let's just put more stars on the screen. The Paper Mario gameplay footage. You know what? How about this? I'm gonna ruin Patrick's night. I want stars everywhere, confetti everywhere, and disco music. Paper Mario RPG battle music and gameplay.